Oh man, the blueberry farm's open. Let's go! Let's go! Hey guys, it's Patricia from Cypress Table Catering. We went blueberry picking because it's blueberry season here in Florida, and it was a blast. We got a bunch of like absolutely gorgeous blueberries. It was just a great day. So I was like, what do I want to make? What do I want to make? And I decided to make a tart. We're gonna make actually a lemon blueberry tart. So how spring is that? Spring is sprung, flitter flitter. Very exciting, very delicious. You are going to love this. So we're going to start with the crust. And this is kind of a traditional shortbread crust. Butter, sugar, that's really just about it. And flour, obviously. So in my bowl here, I've got a cup of butter, half a cup of granulated sugar, quarter cup of brown sugar. So we're going to go ahead and beat this. It's kind of a little bit different than a lot of traditional shortbreads because typically the butter is cold, and this one it is not. So this butter is softened. Okay, so we're gonna beat this till it's light and fluffy. Okay. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. All right, so it's all beat up. Looks good, kind of nice and light and fluffy. To this, we're gonna add a teaspoon of kosher salt. Kosher salt I've already got mixed into the flour. So this is my 2.5 cups. This is where it gets fun. The flour flies everywhere. So just be prepared. Just know it's gonna happen.
Really flying.
Stop for a second. What you're looking for is a kind of a nice wet sand, kind of a crumble. So we're gonna keep going just a little bit. Don't stress too much about like scraping down the sides of your bowl and getting a spatula out and all that stuff. Just kind of dig around with your beaters, make sure that everything's going well. That's it. It looks kind of crumbly and wet. All right, so we're gonna make our tart in a 6-inch tart pan with a removable bottom. They're just awesome. I recommend getting one. It just kind of elevates your dessert when you can pop it out of the pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip my fingers in a little bit of butter, and mostly I'm looking to grease the sides. So that's it. That's my 6-inch tart pan. And we're going to take this mixture and we're going to start pouring it in. And I'm going to leave some out for just a minute. This we're just going to spread as evenly as you can. I struggle with evenness. Again, I could never be a pastry chef, but you know, I try. Even bottom, and everything else is going to start going up the sides. And the reason I have some leftover dough is because I know I'm going to need it for some of the sides. So you do want it to be not super thin on the bottom, but fairly thin all around, really. This shortbread crust is really delicate. It's almost cookie-like. I'm going to show you. You can see that I'm not all the way up the sides, and that's why I have this leftover dough here. Pull my big bowl back. And if you don't use all of your tart dough, put it in a baggie and throw it in the freezer. Or you can make little cookies out of it, which is super fun for the kiddos. Just kind of mash it up and get some cookie cutters out. It's so good. So we're just going up the sides here. Kind of see what I'm doing. I do want a little bit thicker of lip kind of on the outside here, because this is going to be the breaking point if there is one. So I want to make sure that I have some structural integrity there.
Like Bob Ross.
Happy little crusts. All right, so we've got our wonderful, delicious crust ready to go. I'm going to throw this inside because it's hot out here because we're in Florida, and I just want it to stay cool. You don't have to put it in the fridge, but you do want to put it like in the house. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and work on our filling, which is so delicious. What we're going to be doing is making a lemon filling, and then we're going to top this actually with a kind of a blueberry jam almost. So I've got a food processor here. If you don't have a food processor, you can definitely use a blender would work just fine. Even beaters just in a bowl. But you want to make sure that you kind of whip this up a little bit. So I've got 4 eggs, and we're going to go ahead and crack those in. You don't like that face? You don't like my pretty face? All right, so to my food processor, I've got 4 eggs, 4 large eggs. And to that, we're gonna go ahead and add the zest of a lemon. You really wanna make sure that you get all of the zest. So we're feeling zesty. And we're zesting. And also the zest of a half an orange. You may say, why the orange? All right, so we got that ready to go. So to that, we're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. This is 2.5 cups of granulated sugar. And then 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice. Slippery little suckers. You really want to make sure that you get all the juice. And I'm squeezing these cut side up because I don't want to get the seeds in this today. We're so close, so close. We're there. Wait. All right. And we're gonna go ahead, really blitz this. Blitz. All right, so we've got this going, and now we're gonna stream in our butter. It's melted butter. This is a third of a cup of melted butter. So. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and preheat our oven, and we're gonna actually cook this at 350 for about 30 minutes. So it's gonna be super important to check this at the 30-minute mark, because at the 30-minute mark, you're gonna start really keeping an eye on it, because it's like kind of like a cheesecake. You don't want to get cracks and things like that on the top. You want to cook it until the crust is just nice and golden brown. This crust right here, and until the crust is nice and golden brown, and the lemon filling is just set. So, right. And it's not going to go all the way to the top. Keep that in mind too. Don't be alarmed. Because we're going to top this with our blueberry jam. So, all right, I'm going to get this into the oven. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start on our delicious blueberry topping for our lemon tart. What I have here is about 4 to 5 cups of fresh blueberries. They're gorgeous. They're delicious. Fresh, so fresh. We're going to go ahead and add these to our saucepan. So I've got the heat on pretty high. I'm not using this in the recipe. I just love Topo Chico. Have I mentioned that? It's delicious. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some sugar to this. So this is 2.5 cups to 2 cups of white. All right, so to our blueberries, we're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. This is 2 cups of granulated sugar and a 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. Go ahead and get those in. Boy, I forgot a spoon. That's too bad.
Get you a spoon.
Hey, can you get me a spoon? That's not a spoon. Thank you. All right, so I got my spoon here. Thank you. And we're gonna go ahead and start stirring the sugar in. The blueberries are gonna start to loosen up pretty quickly once they start hitting that heat. And it is a lot of sugar, but you gotta have it. You gotta have it. All right, so I've got those going. I'm going to show you kind of what we're going to use for thickening. So I'm using cornstarch today. You could use tapioca powder would be a good alternative if you don't like cornstarch. I don't love cornstarch all the time, but I think for this application it's just perfect. So this is 3 heaping tablespoons to 1/4 cup of water. So we've got that ready to go. We're going to go ahead and zest in the zest of 2 oranges and the juice of 1. We're zesting. We're zesting. Got a little microplane. All right, so we got our zest in there. We're gonna go ahead and cut these guys. Oh, that's a tough one. Ooh, sorry. These are meaty. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add the juice. Actually, of just 1. Why did I cut both? I'll eat that later. Try not to get the seeds in if you can help it. So this is going, and we're gonna let the blueberries kind of break down a little bit. We actually don't want them to break down a ton because we wanna really see them on the top of the tart. We wanna see those beautiful kind of glistening berries. But we will let this go for just a minute or 2, especially just to dissolve the sugars and make sure that everything is kind of melding. Cornstarch will not activate unless this liquid is boiling, so I do have this on a fairly high heat. It's hot! See that? We're gonna go ahead and add cornstarch. Just make sure to stir it up pretty well because it can kind of get weird and stuck to the bottom. We are gonna go ahead and add all of it. So this is gonna make a beautiful blueberry sauce for the top of our tart. However, if you were to cook this down and mash up those berries, this is an excellent blueberry jam. Just to throw in the refrigerator, spread over toast. You could even add a little vanilla at this point if you were gonna make a jam, I would. So bringing this to a boil, making sure that this really starts to thicken up for us. Induction burners take a while to bring things to a boil. Well, this one does. Hello? Not again, not again. Come on now. There we go. Boosting it up to 10 on the old induction burner. All right, so we're bringing this to a boil, making sure that it starts to really thicken up. You want it to be able to really coat the back of a spoon. Got a hot spot on this burner. It's really, really starting to thicken. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And it's gonna thicken up even more as it sets so that we get a nice cut and it doesn't just kind of go all over the place. Okay, we're good, we're good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and set this to the side and it'll be ready to top our tart in just a little bit when our tart is done. You do want to cool your tart before you add your blueberry mixture. So there's a couple of parts of cooling to this. So when we take our tart out, we're gonna cool it. I'm actually gonna throw it in the freezer for a little bit just to kind of get it going. I'm very impatient when it comes to dessert. And this is the kind of dessert that you can do that with. There are some desserts where it's like, don't put it in the freezer. This one you can. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my tart in the freezer for a little bit, really get it to kind of cool down. I'm gonna top it with my berry mixture and then I'll refrigerate it for at least an hour before I cut into it. So we'll show you all of that. It'll be fantastic. All right, so here it is, our gorgeous blueberry, deep dish blueberry lemon tart. It's absolutely gorgeous. So for a half an hour, we had it at 350. We went in and turned the temperature down to 325 for about 10 more minutes, and we pulled it out. After we pulled it out, we threw it in the freezer for about, a good half an hour to really get that lemon curd to set up. We topped it with our gorgeous blueberry preserves. They're so pretty. And then back into the freezer for 10-15 minutes, and then you'll want to keep this in the cooler before you cut it. But this is it. It is absolutely beautiful. I hope you guys try this, make it. It's pretty darn simple, and it's absolutely delicious. It's perfect for a spring day. Bye, guys. Is that it? We're good?